Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my 8th update for my Panda palette. So as I always do, I'm gonna start by inserting the picture of where I was last time. And this is where I am today. So to start off with, the obvious first thing that you can see is that I finished my first shade. I finished Bubbly and it feels so good to be done with the first shade. I expected to be done with that, so it's not a big surprise, but it still feels so nice to have an empty pan in this palette. And yeah, I'm just gonna start by going through the shades one by one as I always do. So the first shade up here is the shade Bear, which is the shade that I set my eyeshadow with. And as you can see, I don't have too much left of that shade and I'm working away on it. I expect that to be done, perhaps not in this month, but at least within 2 months. I don't have too much left of that, like I said. So yeah, I'm moving away on that one as well, which is really exciting. Second to that, we have the shade Kitten, which I haven't used too much, but I have used it a little bit, mostly to use in my inner corners. I have it in my inner corners today. And yeah, I don't know why, but I'm kind of savoring that shade. I could have easily used that up, but I just want to save it because I really love it. But yeah, I do have a plan for this, and I will go through that at the end of this video when I go through my goals. But yeah, that is my progress for Kitten. Next up we have the shade Bliss, which is the transition shade. I am wearing it today, which I do almost every single day. And again, you can see that I'm moving away on it, and this again should probably be done within the next 2 months. The next shade is Sunset, which is this one right here, and I did use quite a bit of this. I had a goal last month of using up kind of like the top half, because I had a little bit up here as well and then going through this way. And as you can see, I almost managed to do it. I have a tiny bit up in the corner, but I do count that as a success because I used up quite a bit of that shadow, and I know that goal was quite ambitious. So even though I didn't technically hit my goal, I'm really happy with the progress I have on this shade this month. Next up we have this shade right here, which is the shade Sandstone. This is just like a dark matte shade, and I have used this a few times, so I hopefully have a bit of a difference in this shade. I am trying to use this a bit more often. I don't usually go for those really dark shades, but I have trying to force myself to remember to reach for this because I do want to use up as much of it as possible before the year is up. I don't think that I will finish this shade, but like I said, I am working away on it, and hopefully I will be able to at least make some more damage to it before the year is up. Then moving on to the second row, I have the first shade Bubbly, which I mentioned is all finished. I am so happy that I managed to finish that. That was the second goal for last month, to finish this one, and I did, which is really exciting. Again, I'm really happy to have a shade that is out of this palette, and yeah, I love this shade, but I'm so pleased to see it gone. Next to Bubbly we have the shade Gilded Gold, which I have used a little bit, not too much if I'm honest. I thought that I would use this way more together with Bubbly, but I kind of reached for Sunset instead. So yeah, I definitely want to reach for this more next month. But yeah, I love this shade, and I'm gonna continue working on it for next one. Next to that we have the shade Luster, which I haven't touched for the last 3 months perhaps. I decided that this is no longer part of the Panda palette, so I'm just gonna skip over that and move on to the next shade. The next shade is the shade Night Sky, which I haven't used too much. I think I used it a handful of times over the last month. Not even sure if you will be able to see any difference in this. I do have another plan with this as well. I mentioned this one, and I have a plan for both of them, and I will go through that in a minute. But first, the final shade is Ebony, which I have been using a few times, and again, not sure if I will be able to see a difference because I usually use it as an eyeliner, so I only use a tiny amount every time I use that. So as I mentioned, I'm gonna move on to kind of what I will change with this palette moving forward. I am thinking about taking some of Night Sky and mixing in with some of Kitten. I may take like the bottom half of this shade and mixing it with like this amount of Night Sky, because This one is quite pretty. I talked before that I was surprised that I liked this so much. That is what it looks like. It is just kind of like a pretty purpley taupey shade. However, it is quite dark, so what I'm thinking is that if I mix it in with Kitten, I will create kind of like a taupey shade. So I will do that and try that out, and I will do that in the empty bubbly pan. So that is something that I will change over the next month. I may also repress this one and this one. Haven't decided yet, because I can use them as they are, and I kind of feel like it's easier to follow progress when they are in their original pan. So we'll see if I do that over the next month, if it gets too hard to use those two shades. But yeah, that is probably what I would change with the palette over the next month. So if it looks different for next update, you know why. So yeah, let's move on to my goals for next month. So my goal for next month is gonna be around these two shades. So the first one is Sunset, which I had a goal on for this month as well. And my goal will be to finish off all of this above kind of where the pan is. So you can see the bottom here. I want to finish all of this around this corner so that I only have this tiny amount left on the bottom. As for the shade Gilded Gold, my goal would be to use up the top half of the pan. So not all the way down to where the pan is, but if you split the pan in half, I want to use up all of this that is on top of that half. Again, quite an ambitious goal, but I really feel like I need to push myself in order to finish this palette, or as much of it as possible, before the year is up. So yeah, those will be my two goals for next month. But yeah guys, that concludes my Panda palette update. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. I will also leave the rest of this playlist up above if you haven't seen it from the start. And yeah, I hope you're having the best of days, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye guys!